Burkinabe and Niger authorities agreed on Wednesday to join forces by signing several agreements to coordinate their energies in order to fight against organized gangs on both sides of the border. Countering terrorism in Africa was at the heart of a regional conference in Nairobi, Kenya on Wednesday. African Union leaders called for more international commitment. The construction on the new Beijing Daxing International Airport officially ended on June 30th as planned, before the inauguration on September 30th, on the eve of the anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China on 1st of October 1949 by Mao Zedong. That's all for our top stories today. Stay tuned for more details in this newscast. To date, tourism accounts for only 4% of the GDP. The country has a huge potential for tourism, which can significantly change its contribution. In fact, Gabon has several tourist attractions that allow it to develop high-end, environmentally friendly tourism. With 800 kilometers of coastline, 13 national parks, and 20 marine protected areas, Gabon is a must-visit tourist country. In 2018, a survey revealed some rather encouraging figures. The authorities want to do better, and the holding in Libreville, the capital, of 5 days of exchange in order to reach the validation of a national tourism strategy is a good start. The head of tourism in Gabon is fully aware that he alone cannot meet this challenge. In order to achieve this, the Tourism Supervision Authority explains that the development of the sector will require different prerequisites, including the establishment of a more attractive tax system, investment in infrastructure, and why not, in the long term, provide the country with a new airline. Exceeded by numerous attacks from organized gangs around their borders, Burkina Faso and Niger have buried their border conflict to make way for a historic agreement which aims to create joint development projects all along the border separating the two countries. This agreement comes after the end of a border dispute that had forced the two neighbors to call on the International Court of Justice to determine their differences. Thus, the route had been redefined in a judgment dated 16th April 2013 by the International Court of Justice, which allocated 786 square kilometers of Niger to Burkina Faso, while Burkina's 277 square kilometers were granted to Niger. The objective of this first agreement is therefore to ensure the security of the populations of the areas affected by ceaselessly repeated terrorist attacks. According to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Burkina Faso, Alpha Barry, it aims at implementing in a concerted manner development projects that cover contiguous areas on both sides of the border, before adding that this will enable municipalities, regions, and departments to set up structures for concerted border management. On the other hand, African Union wants to use technology for better online surveillances to combat terrorist activities. For the African institution, it is necessary to monitor terrorist activities online to improve security on the continent. This was at the high-level regional conference in Africa on the fight against terrorism and the prevention of violent extremism. For Burkina Faso and Niger, this agreement will hinder the activities of organized gangs that run rampant on their soil every day. Is terrorism becoming the main type of conflict in Africa? With the recent upsurge in terrorism attacks on the continent, this is a frequently asked question. Since January, a dozen African countries, including Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Libya, Mali, Niger, Cote d'Ivoire, and Somalia, have suffered terrorist attacks that have claimed thousands of lives among the civilian population. Terrorism gaining ground on the continent. Long-lived areas such as West Africa and Central Africa are now in the sights of jihadist groups. African Union condemns the inertia of the international community. Moussa Faki, the chairman of the AU committee, said, "It is an incomprehensible situation. The phenomenon is deepening. We hear about mandates and we need to take small steps when the threat is real. Today, the whole of West and Central Africa are being affected. I hope this is time and people will see the light of the day. Like the mobilization in Syria and Iraq, we need to mobilize the entire international community to deal with a phenomenon that has the same characteristics." A message from the United Nations head who calls for more mobilization. It remains matching words with deeds for an African continent without any extremist threat. Last Wednesday, African Union called for the adoption of national action plans on women, peace and security to strengthen the role of women in conflict resolution. The consequences of conflict are devastating, including gender equality. Women are often less able to protect themselves than men. Together with children, they generally make up the majority of refugees or displaced populations. They are the recurring targets of war tactics such as sexual violence. They are most kept away from peace negotiations, although they are the head of peaceful movements and initiators of community recovery after conflicts. Excluded from reconstruction process, women are less likely to return to normal life, obtain justice for violations of human rights, and contribute to the reform of laws and public institutions. At the World Peace Forum in Nairobi, the AU Specialist Envoy for Women, Peace and Security, Benita Diop, said that 27 African states have so far developed plans in this area: Libya, Mali, Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan. From the Maghreb to the Horn of Africa, from West to Central Africa, the conflicts and wars that plague the African continent regularly make the front page of media. National action plans must be endorsed by the parliaments concerned so that they are generalized by governments. Women should have a seat at the table of senior leaders when important decisions are being debated in terms of conflict resolution and peace building. According to the African Union, a real political will would be enough. Five years into construction, the giant starfish is finally ready. The final stone of Beijing's Daxing International Airport, announced as the world's largest airport, was laid on June 30th. A project that will have cost 17 billion euros, the triple if one takes into account the cost of rail and road connections. The inauguration is scheduled for September 30th. Located 46 kilometers from the Chinese capital, the airport was designed by ADP Engineering, a subsidiary of the ADP Group in cooperation with the Beijing Institute for Architectural Design, and finalized with the help of the office of Anglo-Iraqi architect Zaha Hadid, who died in 2016. Its unique 700,000 square meters terminal consists of 2 levels for departures and 2 others for arrivals. Underground stations have also been planned to accommodate trains and subways. Eventually, 8 runways will be operational, including one reserved for military aircraft. 100 million passengers are expected each year. This is enough to pass the American Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta, the busiest airport in the world according to the Airports Council International. In 2018, it welcomed some 107 million passengers, though spread over 2 terminals. Is Neymar engaging into an arm wrestling with Paris Saint-Germain? The Brazilian star was absent at the start of PSG training a few days ago. The French champion club reacted by issuing a statement in which it plans to take sanctions against the player. Neymar Sr. immediately replied that his son would not return to France before July 15th in agreement with the club. The reason is known and programmed for over a year with the Neymar Jr. Institute, so Neymar will return on the 15th. There is no controversy. Paris Saint-Germain has been informed, and the club even participates in the activities of this organization. The divorce between the two parties seems increasingly inevitable. FC Barcelona has officially recognized this through its president, Josep Bartomeu. He would welcome the return of the Brazilian whimsical in Catalonia. Injured for 2 years in a row at a key moment of the Parisian season, pinned for his night escapades, and even accused of rape in recent weeks, Neymar seems to have gone through the door of no return to Paris. Burkinabe and Niger authorities agreed on Wednesday to join forces by signing several agreements to coordinate their energies in order to fight against organized gangs on both sides of the border. Countering terrorism in Africa was at the heart of a regional conference in Nairobi, Kenya on Wednesday. African Union leaders called for more international commitment. The construction on the new Beijing Daxing International Airport officially ended on June 30th as planned, before the inauguration on September 30th, on the eve of the anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China on 1st of October 1949 by Mao Zedong. That's the end of our newscast of the day, but keep watching G24 for further news.